I spent most of my childhood and teenage years locked inside my own head, quiet, distant, and deeply introverted. I was the kid who sat in the corner, overthinking every word, too shy to connect with anyone. I never had real friends. I couldn't build relationships no matter how much I wanted to. But one day, something in me changed. I became fascinated by the idea of social skills. I thought, maybe this is the secret. Maybe I can learn how to connect. So I started reading every book I could find. How to win friends and influence people. How to talk to anyone. I watched countless videos about communication and confidence. And do you know what happened after all that effort? Absolutely nothing. Nothing changed. I didn't suddenly become charming or magnetic. I didn't start making friends. For the longest time, I couldn't understand why, until I began studying psychology, really studying it and specializing in human behavior. That's when it hit me like a storm. Almost everything society teaches us about social skills is nonsense. All those generic tips, make eye contact, use their name, smile often, sound good, but they don't actually solve the real problem. Because the real problem wasn't my lack of techniques. It was me, my personality, my energy, my behavior. Once I realized that, everything shifted, and I discovered something incredible. Being charismatic and likable isn't hard at all. In fact, it's surprisingly easy. So here's my promise to you. If you watch this video until the very end and truly apply what I'm about to tell you, people won't just like you. They'll become addicted to your presence. And today, we're diving deep into the magnetic force of charisma. Charisma is built on three simple elements: presence, warmth, and power. Each one works together like parts of a machine. If one is missing or out of balance, the entire effect collapses. Let's start with the first one, presence. Back in 1886, during a UK election, two powerful figures were running for office. As the campaign neared its end, a journalist was asked which candidate impressed her most. Her answer was fascinating. She said, "When I speak to the first man, I feel that he's the strongest person in Britain. But when I speak to the second, I feel like I'm the strongest person in Britain." And guess who won? The second man. That story teaches us the first rule of true charisma. You don't need to show your strength. You need to make others feel strong in your presence. And the way you do that is through presence, by being fully there, mind and soul, when someone speaks to you. Now, you've probably heard this advice before. Be a good listener. People say, maintain eye contact, nod, smile, ask questions. All of that is fine, but it's surface level. Because being a good listener isn't about technique. It's about attention. When someone is speaking, don't think about what you're going to say next. Don't plan your response. Don't mentally prepare your turn to speak. Just listen. Listen with your eyes, your body, your silence. That's the biggest mistake people make. They listen while mentally rehearsing what to say. That's not listening. If you just stop thinking and genuinely focus on their words, not to respond but to understand, people feel it. And that's when connection begins. You might ask, but how will they know I'm really listening? They will feel it. We'll talk more about how they sense it in the next part, warmth, but for now, remember this. When you truly listen, your energy changes. Most people rarely experience that level of attention. So when they meet someone who does, someone who actually listens, they feel drawn to you even if they can't explain why. Suddenly, you'll notice people talking to you more, opening up more, trusting you more. Why? Because when you listen, you give them the most valuable thing they crave, value itself. That's the first pillar of presence. The second pillar? Comfort. You must be comfortable not just in your body, but in your entire being. Whether you're alone in a cafe, surrounded by people at a gathering, or talking one-on-one, your energy should say, I'm at ease here. Why is that so important? Because people can sense your state consciously or unconsciously. If you're tense, nervous, or self-conscious, they'll mirror that discomfort. But if you're relaxed and authentic, they relax too. So how do you become comfortable? By giving yourself permission to be. Stop over-controlling yourself. Stop worrying about how you look or sound. If you feel like sneezing, just sneeze. Don't hold it back because you think someone might judge you. Charisma isn't about perfection. It's about being unapologetically real. Whether you're talking to your boss, your crush, or a stranger, be spontaneous. Laugh when you want. Stretch. Express yourself. That's the kind of presence that makes others drop their guard and feel close to you, because comfort is contagious. Think about how you act when you're with your siblings or best friends. Relaxed, unfiltered, natural. That's how you should be with everyone. When you give yourself permission to be at ease, others feel safe being themselves too. And that's when real connection begins. So to sum up, presence. Relax and make others relax with you. Listen and make others feel heard. Now, let's move to the second element of charisma, warmth. Warmth is that invisible aura of kindness, compassion, and emotional connection that makes people feel good around you. But here's the tricky part. Warmth doesn't mean being overly nice or constantly agreeing with others. If you're kind only to be liked, that's not warmth. That's manipulation. And people sense it instantly. True warmth comes from genuine emotion. Because here's the truth. Only 7% of human communication is verbal, based on words. The other 93% comes from tone, energy, and body language. That's why sometimes someone might speak politely, even smile, but you just don't feel it. You don't connect. It's because their emotions don't match their words. When you speak, people aren't hearing your words. They're feeling your emotion behind them. And once you understand that, your whole approach to charisma changes forever. Sometimes, when you talk to someone, you can sense that strange tension, even when you're being perfectly polite, even when you're saying all the right things. Yet somehow, they just don't feel you. They walk away thinking, I don't know why, but I didn't really like that person. Why does that happen? Because energy doesn't lie. Even if your words sound friendly, the emotion behind them is what people truly hear. If deep down you don't actually want to be talking to someone, that quiet dislike radiates out of you. The other person won't consciously notice it. They'll just feel something off. That's the invisible language of emotion. And here's the truth. Your feelings shape how others feel about you far more than your words ever will. So whenever you start a conversation, do one simple thing. Assume that the person in front of you is good. Look for something you can appreciate about them, even if it's small. Notice their energy, their confidence, their smile, or even their effort to connect. Now, I'm not saying you should blindly trust everyone. If someone has already proven they're not a good person, that's a different story. You don't need to impress people you genuinely don't like. But when you meet someone new, or you're talking with a friend, let genuine admiration rise inside you. Feel interested. Feel eager to talk to them. That warm feeling you hold internally will naturally transfer to them, and suddenly, the energy between you shifts. They won't know why, but they'll feel drawn to you, because emotions are contagious. When you feel comfortable, the person you're speaking to relaxes too. When you're excited, they start to mirror that excitement. When you truly want to be there, they'll want to be there with you. That's the first real secret of warmth. Seeing people through the lens of goodness. Now, the second part of warmth is the power of giving. You add value to people's lives not by preaching or proving, but by offering something useful without forcing it. For example, let's say you're sitting with a friend and they mention, I'm looking for a house to rent. They didn't ask for help, they just said it casually. If you know a good website or resource, don't sit there like it's none of your business. Tell them about it. Offer something. Hey, I know a site that lists houses for rent. It might help. That's enough. You don't have to grab your phone, scroll through listings, and keep pushing links on them. Don't turn your help into pressure. Just give value and then let it go. If they ask for more, great. If not, you've already planted a seed of generosity. That's the beauty of giving. Real giving doesn't expect anything in return. And when people feel that energy from you, that you share without needing to control, it builds silent respect. Now, the third pillar of warmth is acceptance. understanding, and honesty, all working together in balance. Let's say you're talking to someone who says, "I love football," but you don't. Most people, trying to sound agreeable, would reply, "Yeah, me too," but that's fake warmth, and it always backfires. Because sooner or later, that person will sense you're just pretending. And even if they don't, you'll feel drained from constantly putting on a mask. So instead, be honest. "I'm not really into football, but I get why people love it." That's acceptance with truth. You're not attacking their interest, and you're not pretending to share it. You're simply understanding. And that's the kind of honesty people actually respect. The kind that feels real, not forced. If your friend wears a hat that genuinely looks great, say it, "That hat really suits you." If they wear something that doesn't, and you have that kind of friendship, you can be honest too. "Honestly, I didn't like that shirt much. I don't think it suits you." But here's the key: say it once and move on. Don't insist. Don't keep repeating it or trying to prove you're right. Be honest, but stay kind. Accept people for who they are, even when you don't agree with them. That combination, honesty with empathy, is what gives warmth its true power. When you can share advice, add value, and speak truth while staying kind, that's when people feel safe around you. That's when they open up. And that's when your warmth starts to glow. But here's something important. Presence and warmth alone are not enough to create full charisma. You can be kind, attentive, and giving, but without power, your presence lacks gravity. That's why we saved the final pillar, power, for last. Because this one takes everything deeper. Power isn't about dominance or aggression. It's about inner strength. It's that quiet confidence that says, "I know who I am." To have that, you need self-belief, firm principles, and the courage to stand by them. So first, stop talking about yourself all the time. Stop trying to convince people of your worth. When you seek approval, you give away your power. Second, don't be afraid of confrontation. Your values are your boundaries. Don't let anyone cross them. If you don't drink alcohol, for example, and your friends push you to join them, you don't have to justify your decision. Just say, "No." No story. No defense. Just confidence. That's real power, knowing your no has value. And the same applies to everything in life. There will be lines that no one should cross, and if they try, you must be willing to draw them clearly. Even in small moments, like when you find a hair in your food at a restaurant, you have the right to speak up. Tell them calmly. Ask for what's fair. Power means respecting yourself enough to take action when needed. And finally, let's talk about your body language. Your posture, your gestures, your voice. They all reflect how you feel inside. When your inner world is strong, it radiates through your body naturally. But here's the trick. The connection goes both ways. If you don't yet feel strong, act like you do, and your body will start convincing your mind. I'm not going to tell you to stand like a superhero or memorize specific poses. Instead, I'll tell you the same thing I told you before: be comfortable. Let your hands move freely. Sit with ease. Breathe fully. When you're relaxed, your confidence becomes effortless. Imagine yourself as the strongest person in the room, not arrogant, just grounded. How would you sit? How would you speak? That's the energy you need to carry. Hold that image in your mind. Let it guide your posture, your tone, your presence, and your body will naturally follow. Remember, charisma isn't about trying to be liked. It's about creating influence. It's about moving through life with quiet strength, emotional awareness, and genuine human connection. True charisma isn't loud. It's magnetic. It doesn't chase attention, it commands it. So protect your energy. Invest in your growth. And never forget, charisma isn't something you put on like a mask. It's something you grow into through experience, confidence, and self-mastery. If this spoke to you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Epic Persona, because this journey of transformation is just getting started.